Hey guys, hope you're having a great morning. I'm going for my usual walk. It's my morning off in the bush. It's a great day, sun's out, birds are out. And today I want to tell you guys about my upbringing, my experience in foster care. So basically when I was 12, I was put into foster care because I had an eating disorder when I was 12. And it was quite severe, and I was in hospital, and it was life-threatening at the time. And when I was put in hospital, I was told I wasn't able to go back to live with my mother. My dad died when I was 8, so it was just me and my mom after that. And she wasn't fit to be my mother because she didn't know how to deal with my issues, and it was making it worse. So yeah, I'm not putting the blame on my mom. I have a really good relationship with my mom now, and but it hasn't been that way growing up. But it has gotten better, and she's definitely the most significant person in my life. So I don't want to give anybody that impression that I'm blaming somebody for what I went through, because I think all the things we go through are blessings in disguise, really. Like, I went through a lot of pain and suffering growing up and felt very isolated. But I wouldn't go back and change any of that, because that made me who I am now and gave me all these experiences and lessons that I've learned and things I can share with others and help others. And it's made me just like a better person. So I'm really grateful for it, even though it was quite difficult, quite painful at the time. And so I want to go into a little bit about it. So yeah, when I was 12, I was put into foster care. I was told that I wouldn't be able to see my mom again after, like, once I was in hospital. I wouldn't be able to see her again without somebody else there. That was really hard to deal with. And yeah, I was in hospital for 2 months. The first month was recovering, being force-fed through a tube, and yeah, I put on a bit of weight and got better physically to a degree. I was still very, very underweight, but I was better to a degree where I could function on day to day, basically, and I was feeling a bit better. But internally, my mind was still messed up. It was all an emotional thing, and I'll go into other videos. I want to talk more about emotions and my story with an eating disorder. I'm not going to go into it too much here. I want to talk about foster care, but I'm just giving you a background so you can understand why I was in care, basically. This video, by the way, is for anybody listening, really, but I really want to address this and send it out to kids in care, because if you're a kid in care at the moment, or you've had a care experience, I totally understand. I don't know your story, but I can understand what you're going through, and I just want to let you know you're not alone. There are many other kids in the same situation, and I know it's hard, and that's why I want to share this, because I want to let you guys know, like, it's not going to be bad forever. If it seems like it's bad now, it'll get better, because yeah, I understand. I felt very isolated growing up, because as a teenager, because I lived with 6 different families, and every family I lived with were different, and it was a good experience getting to know different people, but it was odd in a way, living with strangers, you know. Like, if you have a care experience, you may understand this. And I never had a place where I lived for a long time, so I never really identified them as my own family. I've always identified my mom as my own family, even though I didn't see her for 2 years after I was put in care, because I couldn't deal with it. I actually hated her at the time because I didn't understand, basically. But then I got over that, and then I started seeing her again, and yeah, and it was good. And yeah, so like living in these different places, I always felt isolated and alone, even when I was with people, because I never felt like I belonged anywhere. And I would talk to people, and I would go to different schools, and I've lived in 23 houses in my life, and 24 now actually, and I've been to 10 schools, and so moving and meeting new people is not a big issue for me, but I've always felt like, especially in the past, not so much now, but that when I was around people, especially like being in your home environment, when you should feel like it's your home, you should feel like you could do what you want. And I don't have these issues anymore now that I've moved out. But at the time, I felt like, it's my home, but it's not really my home. I can't do what I want, kind of thing. I don't know these people that well, Like, it's different when it's your parents. They love you no matter what. Even if they get angry, even if they don't understand, they still accept you. But I think with carers, it's not that they don't accept you, but in a way they don't. And I've seen it with other kids, because it is not their fault. It's just the way it is, because they don't understand you, and they're less accepting because they haven't known you as long, and they think you're a stranger in a way, and it creates this, I don't know how to explain, but like, you see them as a stranger, they see you as a stranger. It's really hard, and you go through that, and then you're going through everything that you're growing up with as a normal teenager kid would go through, and like, it's tough being a teenager. You got issues with friends at school, and like, I had all that normal stuff too, so it was quite hard because I never really had that stability in my life. People I could go to, like, there was always somebody there, but it'd be like I'd have to explain my story again every time I moved, and like, it's just like kind of exhausting. And for these reasons, I kept to myself a lot, and I started playing guitar, and that was kind of my therapy. Oh, and exercising was always my therapy as well. Yeah, that started before I was in care. That started when I was 12 again, partly because of my eating disorder, which wasn't a good thing, but it was also not because of that. It was just a relief, like stress release kind of thing, which is a normal thing that people like exercise for. So, and I still do it now, not so much for that reason. I just do it more for enjoyment. I don't get stressed as much now, but yeah, it was like that, but now it's become something good, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is my experience. I've lived in 6 different placements, and yeah, but the good thing is, like, I learned so much from living with all these different people, and like, it makes me so grateful now for where I am in life, because I had to learn how to manage money myself, because one of the carers I lived with, like, they encouraged me to get a job, which was great. I was probably not that motivated to get a job at the time. I was 15. And yeah, so I got a job. I did that. I started saving money because they wouldn't pay for anything for me apart from like food. Like, so I'd have to pay for everything, like clothes, anything I needed, transport. So, and I was only working like 1 shift a week at KFC at the time, so it's kind of hard. I was kind of like worried about money a little bit, and I was only young. So I started saving from that age, and I've saved ever since. And because of that, I've always had money in the bank. So that's sort of giving me this mindset that I'm always got money, and I'm able to deal with money myself. Like, I've never had to borrow money from anyone or do anything like that. So that's been a really great skill. I've also developed this self-reliance myself, that I trust myself more than I trust anybody else. which is a really good thing. It can be a bad thing if it means I'm not willing to trust other people. Now I'm a lot more open to trusting others. But it is important to trust yourself over anybody else, because in life, even when people have good intentions and they think they know what's best for you and they want to help you and they tell you what to do, it may not always be exactly what the best thing for you is if it's not in alignment with yourself. So you may feel like you need something, but you ask somebody older with more experience what they did in your situation, and it may be a thing that they didn't work for them, but it's not going to work for you because you've got a whole different set of genetics, different experiences, like different upbringing. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's not about like trusting yourself. I'm not saying don't trust other people, but I mean always come back to yourself and ask yourself if it's right for you. And sometimes, like especially when you're young, you need older people because you don't know much and you haven't fully developed your brain yet. And yeah, so you need other people to help you, and you still need them. I still ask people to help me all the time, but you've got to trust yourself over trusting somebody else. You should never take somebody else's advice too seriously against your own, because the feeling that you have may be what you need, even if it doesn't seem like it's right for somebody else. Because when I've always trusted myself and followed my gut, I've always been okay. I've always done something that has been good for me, even if it didn't seem good in the eyes of others. And I'm learning that more and more all the time. So now that's why I don't worry about what anybody says. I listen to them. I take in their advice. I consider it, but I always trust myself. And see if that what they're saying is going to be good for me. So that's a little piece of advice. If you're in care or if you're not, if you're just a young person growing up, yeah. And yeah, so that's one thing I'm grateful for, is just like developing this self-reliance, this maturity at a young age. It's really helped me in life because like now I consider myself pretty successful, you know. Like I went to uni, I graduated, I did what I loved, so I did music. That was the only thing I was going to do if I went to uni. And my family encouraged me to go to uni, so I did. And I said I'm doing music, so I did it. And it was great. I wouldn't encourage going to uni if you don't really want to do something specifically, because there's no point if you're just going there because somebody says you should, or you think you should because society thinks you should, because you really don't need to go to uni unless you want to for a specific reason. So that's something else to consider as well. Don't go to uni if you feel pressured. Wait, see what you like to do, see what you're passionate about, and if that requires going to uni, if that's going to help you, then you go. Otherwise, you can go to some other educational institution, or you can start working in a field that you enjoy. Get work experience. It's the most valuable thing. Experience is the only way you can really learn. So my advice is to get as much work experience as you can. If you don't know what you need to do, try heaps of different things. Find what you like, find what you don't like, find what you're good at and what you're not good at, and use your strengths. So that's another piece of advice for any kid in care, or any kid not in care. And yeah, so these are the things that I learnt from this experience. I had to rely on myself. I had to come back to myself and understand everything, because I didn't have a stable person to go to talk to support me, basically. Like I had temporary support. So I'm not saying that I was totally on my own, living by myself, but that's where I came from. Like, yeah, I just want to let you guys know that it's been a real help for me, actually, having to deal with this. So yeah, and I've accomplished everything that I wanted to do. Like, I'm a personal trainer now. I worked full time for a mentor who taught me so much. Like, that was a really great experience. Now I'm working completely on my own at a new gym. I've just moved up the coast, and I'm living closer with family now, so that's good. I've changed my lifestyle quite a bit, and I'm still pursuing my music. I played with a band before, and that was really fun. We made a music video, and now I'm on my own for a bit, doing my own solo thing, and I'll probably collaborate with other bands in the future as well. And yeah, I'm starting a business online as well to do training and coaching, and so yeah, life's really good. And I've done all this, and I had a care experience, and yeah, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your upbringing is and what you're given. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're given, you've got to use that. You've got to think positively and focus on yourself. Focus on what you want. Focus on your future, because that's the main thing that's going to help you if you're struggling at the moment. So I just want to tell all you guys that, all the kids out there in care, because I know it's really tough. There are days when you're really miserable. I had a lot of days when I was really depressed, and yeah, like, it's tough, you know. And I also want to let you guys know that if there's any kids out there, especially, who want somebody to talk to, I'm going to put a link below this video, and you can click the link, and that'll send you to a form where you can fill out your details, and I'll get in contact with you, and we can have a chat anytime, because if you need that support, I'd be more than happy to help you with anything that you need, even if you just need somebody to listen to, because I know that when I was in care, I often felt like I didn't have anybody really to talk to. I had a caseworker that was really good, so she was somebody that I could talk to, but she wasn't there all the time, you know. It was only like once a month or whatever. So, you know, if you're in that situation, like, please, don't be afraid to click the link and just fill out the form and get in contact with me, or talk to your caseworker, because I'm going to talk to Life Without Barriers about this. So we'll reach out to you guys if anybody needs help. Anyway, I hope you got a lot out of this, depending on whether you're just a regular kid, or you're kid in care, or just somebody watching my channel for fun, amusement, whatever it is, for health, fitness, wellness, whatever. And have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.